The United States is currently the largest industrial nation in the world. It is an economic and technological giant. It ranks first in such fields as computer technology, space technology, nuclear energy, and electronics. Although its dominance is decreasing, it produces a major portion of the world's machinery, automobiles, oil, electrical energy, and chemicals. The American free enterprise system emphasizes private ownership. Businesses are directly or indirectly owned and operated by private individuals. The modern American economy traces its roots to the quest of European settlers for economic gain in the 16th, 17th, and 18th centuries. The New World progressed from a colonial economy to a small, independent farming economy, and then to a highly complex industrial economy. Early settlers came to the United States for various reasons. Some of them came to the New World for profits as well as religious and political freedom, as those in Virginia and Pennsylvania. Chartered companies contributed a lot to Britain's colonizing process of the would-be United States. They were groups of stockholders, usually merchants and wealthy landowners, who sought personal economic gain and perhaps also wanted to advance Britain's national goals. While the private sector financed the companies, the king or queen provided each project with a charter or grant, conferring economic rights as well as political and judicial authority. Because the colonies generally did not show quick profits, the British investors often turned over their colonial charters to the colonists. The political implications, although not realized at the time, were enormous. The colonists were left to build their own lives, their own communities, and their own economy. In effect, to start constructing their own new nation. Secondary industries developed as the colonies grew. A variety of specialized sawmills and grist mills appeared. Colonists established shipyards to build fishing fleets and trading vessels. They also built small iron forges. By the 18th century, regional patterns of development had become clear. Except for slaves, the standard of living in the colonies was generally higher, in fact, than in Britain. As the British investors withdrew their support, the field was open for entrepreneurs among the colonists to establish themselves. By 1770, the North American colonies were ready, both economically and politically, for self-government. The U.S. Constitution was in many ways an economic charter. It established that the entire nation was a unified or common market. There were no tariffs or taxes on interstate commerce. The Constitution provided that the federal government could regulate commerce with foreign nations and among the states, establish uniform bankruptcy laws, create money and regulate its value, fix standards of weights and measures, establish post offices and roads, and fix rules governing patents and copyrights. The last mentioned clause was an early recognition of the importance of intellectual property, a matter that began assuming great importance in trade negotiations since the late 20th century. Alexander Hamilton, first Secretary of the Treasury, advocated an economic development strategy in which the federal government would nurture infant industries by providing overt subsidies and imposing protective tariffs on imports. The new government ultimately did make tariffs an essential part of American foreign policy, a position that lasted until almost the middle of the 20th century. The Industrial Revolution began in Europe in the 18th century and quickly spread to the United States. By 1860, when Abraham Lincoln was elected president, 16% of the United States population lived in urban areas, and one-third of the nation's income came from manufacturing. Northern victory in the Civil War, however, ensured the destiny of the nation and its economic system. The slavery system was abolished. Northern industries expanded rapidly because of the demand of the war. Industrialists came to dominate many aspects of the nation's life, including social and political affairs. The rapid economic development following the Civil War laid the groundwork for the modern U.S. industrial economy. An explosion of new discoveries and inventions took place, causing such profound changes that some termed as a second industrial revolution. The American economy in the early 20th century experienced a period of prosperity and then suffered the worst depression in American history following the Wall Street crash in October 1929. President Roosevelt, in his attempt to tackle the economic depression, introduced his famous New Deal in 1933. The intervention of the government has ensured that economic opportunities are fair and accessible to the people. It has prevented flagrant abuses of the system, dampened the effects of inflation, and stimulated economic growth. After World War II, America recognized the urgent need to restructure international monetary arrangements by ensuring an open, capitalist, international economy. American businesses entered a period of consolidation during the 1950s. The 1960s and the 1970s were a time of great change. By the end of the 1970s, economic growth had decreased. Unemployment and inflation continued to rise. In the early 1980s, the Reagan administration adopted new monetary policies to fight inflation by increasing the supply of money. The economy saw a recession during the administration of President George H.W. Bush. Under President Clinton, the economy grew slowly at first. Then, measures taken during the Bush administration began to bear fruit, and the economy recovered more quickly. Business earnings grew and new jobs were created. The economy had been growing continuously since the 1990s, the longest peacetime economic expansion in history. When President Barack Obama took office in January 2009, the United States was in the midst of a deep recession, losing over 800,000 jobs per month. On February 17, 2009, Obama signed the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act of 2009, an economic stimulus package aimed at helping the economy recover from the deepening worldwide recession. American agriculture assumes a richness and a variety unmatched in most parts of the world. Today, the average American farm covers about 460 acres. Large capital investments and increasing use of highly trained labor have also contributed to the success of American agriculture. Biotechnology has led to the development of seeds that are disease and drought resistant. American agriculture has increasingly become an agribusiness, a term created to reflect the big corporate nature of many farm enterprises. Agribusinesses include a variety of farm businesses and structures, from small one-family corporations to huge conglomerates or multinational firms. One-third of the crops are exported to Europe, Asia, Africa, and Latin America. The United States has large manufacturing industries, and nearly 12 million Americans are employed directly in manufacturing. The four largest manufacturing industries are computers and electronic products, chemicals, food, beverage and tobacco, and petroleum products. The American military industry is so highly developed that each year it makes a profit of billions of dollars by selling military products to foreign countries. The service industry is significant to the American economy. Employment in manufacturing and agriculture has declined since the 1970s. By contrast, tremendous growth has occurred in the service sector. The American service sector involves three categories: services for the affluent, welfare services, and services provided by the poor. America has been undergoing profound economic change at the beginning of the 21st century. More emphasis has been laid on technological innovations in computing, telecommunications, biological sciences, and space technology. Therefore, America's high-tech industry ranks first in the world and plays an important role in the country's economic growth. For example, in the fields of computers, engineering, and information technology, American companies hold a dominant place in the world. In the past 2 centuries, particularly since World War II, U.S. foreign trade has changed from a domestic-oriented trade pattern to a more internationally oriented one. The most important products for export are office machines, household appliances, transportation and communication equipment, chemicals, textile, metal manufacturers, petroleum products, paper, and other products made from wood and rubber. The United States ranks first in export of agricultural products. In addition, it is also the leading exporter of civil aircraft, services, technology, and weapons. America takes in the largest percentage of imports in the world. The major imported products are crude oil, engines, electronic equipment, vehicles, etc. Many U.S. industries are built around a continuous supply of essential raw materials. In light of its tremendous influence on the world economy, the growth and decline of the U.S. foreign trade volume to a large extent affects the trend of the world economy.